Getting into the first discussion on global warming, today we will look at some of the recklessness that we have on our social media platform today. Some persons have argued whether or not social media, the internet, is more of a blessing than a curse. But then, some persons have argued that it also depends on the usage of these social media platforms that we have. Some have used it wrongly and gotten wrong positive results. Permit me to use that word. All right. The results came out, but then it never lasted because of how they ended. And then some persons are just reckless on social media. They just up there to display a life that they never had in real sense. And some other persons go there to actually earn a living. Some persons go there to make sense. Some persons actually are using the power of social media, the internet per se, today, to contribute to societal development, economic growth, and of course, shaping of the society. Today, we want to look at the role of social media, of course, in national development. And joining me on the conversation this morning is a digital skill trainer that has worked with a lot of tech companies. He just came back from a journey where he went to train people outside the shores of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, also a public affairs analyst. Gideon Okibe is my guest today. It's good to have you join us on the program, Gideon.
Good morning, Ramsey, and I'm very excited to be on the call with you this morning.
Thank you very much. You're someone that is so familiar with the internet, and one good thing about your experience is the fact that both online and offline you get to interact with people who are always on the internet, on the social media, helping them to take advantage of the internet, the social media especially. Now, we want to know, can social media, is it possible? Because today we are looking at the pros and cons of social media as it has to do with national development, economic growth, whatever, societal development, whatever you want to call it. Now, what would you have to say about the recklessness that we have on social media today before we get to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of social media in connection with economic development?
Okay, thank you so much, Ramsey. Once again, it's a pleasure to be on the call, and I'm super excited to have my own take in this very, very important talking point. And first thing first, I hope my voice is audible enough.
Yes, it is.
It is. So this is one thing. I think I like the fact that the discussion has been narrowed down to social media and not just the internet as a whole. The recklessness that we are seeing today is as a result of the society we find ourselves, and how certain societal norms are not properly addressed and how they are being welcomed. And especially here in Nigeria, we don't outside of Nigeria, it's not as if it's not there, but there are very strict restriction on how certain things are being put out there. Okay, so I think the level at which recklessness in terms of social media mismanagement has been in recent time has really grown very, very well. I know we're going to discuss about the importance too, because that's where I always love to focus more on. But in regard to the recklessness, in regards to the talking point we're having today, a whole lot of sensitization need to be done. And even if it will, it still boils down to individuals, right? And also what individuals are hoping to achieve from their activity online. So for now, that's my opinion on the recklessness of, the misuse of social media in today's, social media activity as a whole.
Thing is the importance of this social media, because can we just take a stroll back a little bit? Though the social media has been there, but I think in Nigeria it became popular a few years ago in Nigeria here, and people had an understanding of it. Now, you said, like you rightly said, let's concentrate on the importance of the social media now, even though some persons don't really know the importance, because when you don't know the importance of something, you tend to abuse it. First of all, can we go into the importance, which is the advantage, the pros of social media?
Okay, great. Before today, or before I think couple of years, not very long, about a year or two ago, social media was majorly designed for communication and also creating awareness, and majorly for marketing purposes too, for entrepreneurs and also business owners. But in recent time, we started seeing the evolution of new generation social media like the TikTok, which the users can easily make revenue by staying active online and being actively creating content or staying live online. So they are being rewarded in monetary form for being online. So you see that that is one benefit, which also have its own downside. And secondly, social media, I'm narrowing this down to YouTube right now because it's also a social media channel. It's one of the biggest university on earth, and it is free. You see, so being one of the easy to access visual content platform on earth, where you can learn as a student anything, virtually anything you want to learn. If you want to develop yourself, you can get that done on the social media channel. I'm not restricting it just to YouTube alone, even on Facebook and on other platforms too. Then we start seeing the evolution of monetization on platforms like Facebook, where content creators also are being rewarded for creating content and putting it out there. You see, so if you kind of look at the advantage in terms of direct monetary value, a lot of young people are getting some sort of financial rewards by staying active online. This is obviously curbing some other societal norms, crimes, and distracting people from making genuine money instead of going into cyber crime, and defrauding other people. So in a nutshell, the social media channels has really made a lot of benefit and importance to the young people, to the federation, and to the entire world. So the benefits can never be overemphasized. And when we go deep into the downside, I think that is where we can start seeing that it boils down to human greed and personal differences. But for now, as a marketer, social media channel is your go-to place where you can reach more people beyond your, your immediate sphere. And even as a student, there are particular channels where you can go and get great content around your subject matter and get a lot of tutorials, or you can even do personal learning, even not as a student directly. You could grow yourself in a particular skill and get results, you know.
As it is right now, we heard from Gideon Okibe, and what is happening on social media is so much. Uh, Somebody like Pella, a 19-year-old, according to what is on the internet, he said he makes as much as I think I even have it right here. Uh, on Naira Metrics, Nigerian TikTok streamer, 19-year-old Pella says he makes 20 million naira weekly. That's what he said. That's a 19-year-old. But a lot of people don't know that all of these opportunities exist. Now, Gideon, let's talk about the disadvantage, because anything that have advantage also have disadvantages. But before we go into talking about the advantages, now a lot of people need a particular skill, and that's why you are a digital skill trainer. What is your assessment of awareness of opportunities and having these skills as far as the Nigerian environment is concerned? Because you are a digital skill trainer, I could remember you've worked with Google. Currently, you're working with some tech companies, and you've trained people in and outside Nigeria severally. So, what do you think is the challenges, all right, of this skill acquisition?
Okay, thank you so much, Ramsey. You see, when you talk about challenges, right? When you talk about the issue that most people are facing right now, you see, it boils down to social amenities. I would not want to say that the awareness is not as it should be, you know. There's been a lot of awareness, at least to the much that I can, I can see, I can also talk about. There are a lot. If you have a mobile device today, and you are on the internet, you choose to see what you want to see. Nobody's going to force you to kind of look into a particular niche. So if you're a young person and at least at some point you get to see someone who is talking about maybe affiliate marketing, maybe the person is talking about digital marketing, or these are all digital skills that one can acquire. And once in a while you are seeing someone advertising about how you could develop yourself, as a grown-up, you don't need someone to come and tell you that it's time for you to start doing one or two things to make revenue. So when you get to that point and you feel the need to make some revenue, you think about how to do this. And the internet is one of the best places to help you achieve this. So you have to go to learn and to deploy service. However, when I talk about social amenities, right? Take for instance, I am having this call with you right now. I work remotely from home, and I pay my NEPA bills or my light bills, and I'm probably not getting enough power supply as I should to work. Imagine waking up in the morning, starting to work from home, and boom, the light goes off. And I don't have any extra power supply or power source. That is a big, how will I put it? It is a big disadvantage to my work progress. At that point, Even when I go to probably go and get fuel to power my generator, or to go fix my any auxiliary source of power supply, the energy to continue that particular task may drop, and that will limitate my progress as someone who is working from home. Now, that is someone who have already acquired a skill. Another challenge could be that the network connections, the hike in pricing in purchasing data. You might even get the data connection, but it's not even serving you. And there are some of the downsides that even someone living in the country is probably going to be facing. So if you look at the issues that are confronting those who can at least make end from staying active online and do a thing or another to make revenue, you're going to put all this into cognizance. But my advice to those who have at least scaled through the process of they've acquired a skill, is to go beyond waiting for any sort of government to provide the needed equipment or property or gadgets they need to do their task. Okay, if you know electricity is going to be your challenge, invest and get a stable source of power source that will keep you running. If it is your internet, try out multiple internet source that will give you a stable network connectivity, so you're not going to be having some sort of challenges while you're working, because you will still be the one at the receiving end when it's not giving you the right result.
All right, thank you. I think I'm so excited, Gideon, that you even mentioned the government. If you acquire a skill, don't go sit down and wait for the government. If you want to get into a remote job, for instance, you don't just need to sit down at home and depend on, is it PHCN or whatever, is it ADC or EN or whatever that supplies power from the PHCN side. Now, does the social media, does it have any impact or any connection with economic development?
Yes, 100%. And the primary case study is the revenue content creators make, and they are being paid in either in dollars or in pounds, or depending on the platform revenue generation, but majorly of them are in dollars. So imagine you're in Nigeria. The economic importance that the government is going to have is whenever there is an inflow from any part of the country or the world coming into your own country. So if money is coming into Nigeria, it's just like you are exporting a particular product and you are being paid for that particular product. That's one. Another, economic importance that the social media have is the fact that business owners can now channel their businesses away from Nigeria and get clients that will purchase their product or services and pay them in their own currency. So imagine I am a creator and I create digital content and I sell them to people in the UK, right? Now, the people in the UK are going to pay me in pounds. And because that's an inflow coming to the country, it is going to improve the economic standard of Nigeria. So every country wants something that will bring in money. It's just like a tourist coming into Nigeria and spending their money in Nigeria and going back. So is the same thing. The difference is just that you are in Nigeria and you are selling this product to them there without them coming here. So those are some of the advantages that social media have to the country. Another big advantage is the reduction in crime. This come in two ways, right? I'm talking about physical crime, where you see a lot of people engage in going to the road and blocking the road, So because of the advance of social media and some of the people that are probably supposed to take to this type of crime are going into content creation, you don't see so much of that kind of crime anymore. However, there is one called the cybercrime, which we'll still talk about. It have to do with individual mindset and greed to make quick money. So, in a nutshell, I think the government have a whole lot of benefit when it comes to the advent of social media and the internet, basically, within Nigeria.
All right. Thank you. I think we need to talk about the cons a little bit. That is the disadvantage, because most of the things that have advantages, they have disadvantages too, especially when you have a society where some persons take advantage of good things and convert it into something negative for their selfish interests, or maybe as a result of greed, whatever you may want to call it. Now, what do you think are the disadvantages, that is the cause of the social media as against economic development?
So one of such events I want to bring on board today is bad name, right? Which will dent the younger generation coming after. Now, I talked about cybercrime not very long. You see, social media has encouraged a lot of cybercrime indirectly. When I say indirectly, is because they created a platform, and even though they are doing as much as possible, depending on the social platform, right, they are doing their best to create measures to curb cybercrime. Some people are still finding their way to execute this. Another disadvantage is the fact that there is some monetary attachment to content creation and the process to which one can make that revenue. So a lot of people go outside of the norm to make the revenue. Take for instance, if you are being paid based on views, you don't care the kind of content you create anymore. You just want to create content and put it out here and make revenue. You see, so that alone can make someone to go and create false information, just because you know that when he put out that false data, people will want to see it. And when people see this information, at the end of the day, it's going to generate revenue for the person. So that's a downside. So on the part of the platform that is giving out or making room for people, to showcase their skill or whatever they are doing, they should do more of checkmating the authenticity of those kind of content. Then social media as a whole, or the internet as a whole, has made so many cyber criminals explore and give out or defraud a lot of people. You look at the case study of the young man Abbas, who was extradited from Nigeria, some years back, and it was because of social media. You see, they defraud people and they flaunt a lifestyle that is not real, putting other young people under pressure, which invariably is making those other young people to be in a position where they want to make the same money, or they want to be in that same level of of flaunting their own funds or whatever they have, their jewelries and the likes, so that other people can see them as they've arrived. You see, so social media is giving room for those kind of ill activity. However, I'm very happy that we have government both within and outside of the country that is clapping on some of these individuals. So those are some of the things you can record as the downside of having a social media. All right, I am of the opinion that there should be some level of sensitization, and there should also be much more incentive to, educational content than just entertainment or other part of content that people could just want to create revenue from. So if there is a reward, much more reward for educational content, you find people engaging more on educational content than other content that will rally around people just to get the views.
Oh, all right, that's well spoken. Now, with all of these things that you have said, what is your perspective of the Cybercrime Act? Okay, that was just introduced, that was just put into law in Nigeria. A lot of people are falling victims already. I know of a comedian who has fallen victim. Right now, as we speak, the Showere's issue is on, all on social media, up to the extent that Facebook and X are also facing that, though we may not be able to talk about that right now because the case is in court, that of Showore, but then it's still connected to social media. But now, what is your general perspective as we try to round up on the Cybercrime Act?
Well, the truth of the matter is, when you talk about the Cybercrime Act, it comes in two folds. I am not totally in support of the fact that people have freedom of speech, for them to say everything they want to say. In such like, you might say things that are not real or things that are not properly verified, and that can, jeopardize someone's career or the person itself. So I want to see light in that aspect of the cybercrime. However, the other part I'm seeing is something that I am trying to be a little bit diplomatic about. I see it as a form of silencing the voice of the people. Not allowing people to air their view. If the cybercrime allow people to constructively air their views without defaming or demeaning someone's character, I think that's welcome, but telling people not to air their view or not to use a particular platform, I don't welcome that.
All right.
Obviously, for a government, just likely for a government or for an environment or for a society to grow, there must be a law, to guide the activity of everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, Gideon. It has been a very wonderful time. Thank you for making out time to speak to us on a very beautiful note. Many thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, time is not on our side. We would have talked about other things, but then time is not on our side. Want to say a big thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you too. So have a great week.
All right, thank you. This is going to be the size of the first conversation on Global Morning today. Just remember that whatever you do on social media, you are leaving a footprint, and of course, there are a lot of opportunities to explore. So take advantage of the positive opportunities and put a blind eye to the cybercrime aspect of it. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Global Morning continues after now.